have zebra because of the black and white stripes that they have on the back of their legs. Nowadays, though, we know okapis are very real. That's why I still have hope that one day we'll find a unicorn. We also know that they're not at all related to a horse or a zebra, but we did discover that the okapi is a distant relative of the giraffe. I love unicorns too. Now coming up on our right, if you look on top of this hill there, you're going to see a grayish animal that kind of looks like a deer. It's a little bit hard to see, but it is back there behind those trees. That's known as the greater kudu. And hopefully we'll get a little better view of it as we continue. Coming up on our left, though, we're going to see the black rhino.
Oh, shoot.
You can really see how that animal blends in with those rocks behind him.
Oh, wow. You see the rhino, Ashton?
Now, the black rhino can weigh up to around 3,000 pounds and charge at speeds up to 35 miles an hour. Unfortunately, though, there's only about 5,000 of those animals that are still left out here in the wild, at least as far as we know. Over on the right, we're going to start to see some bongo, the animals, not the instrument. And then there's a little better view of those greater kudu here on the right. It's that gray animal. Well, these are both types of antelope, just like the okapi. The greater kudu is actually one of the tallest antelope in all of Africa. They can get up to around 5 feet tall or 55 inches at the shoulder if you want to.
He's even flapping his ears.
A group of the greater kudu is known as a forkle. A male kudu can grow horns up to 6 feet long, but since none of those ones had any horns, we know they were all female. Bongos are nicknamed the ghosts of the forest, and that's because they're rarely seen. They use those long horns that they have to get through thick and tangled underbrush quickly but quietly. So now when you go home, you tell your friends and family that you saw a ghost at Disney World.
Whoa.
Oh, before I forget, everyone take a moment, check out the animal spotting gap right above you.
Whoa.
So those are all the animals that we have a chance of seeing on our 2-week journey here together. No guarantee that we're going to see all
like
of them,
doo-doo.
because you may have noticed in the forest, we usually do get pretty lucky. We're now entering our second ecosystem here together. This is the area of the Sapi River. On our left, we're going to see some hippos in the water, the Nile hippopotamus.
Oh.
A group of hippos like this is called a bloat, but I would not call them that to their face. Now, the animals in this habitat, they are similar to the ones in the forest because they both blend in with their surroundings in order to hide from predators. But the way they do so does vary a little bit. Rather than camouflaging with the flora around them, the aquatic animals in the river do tend to stay above, below, and beyond the water. Hippos in particular are one of those animals that really like to stay completely submerged under the water. They can do so for about 8 minutes at a time before they have to come up for air.
It's tadpoles.
And instead of swimming, what hippos do is they sink down to the very bottom of the water. They kind of just walk or run across it. One reason that hippos don't really like to swim is because they'd have to carry up a lot of weight while they did so. The average hippo does weigh around 5,500 pounds at adulthood. Now, explorers, when we cross this bridge coming up ahead, I recommend you keep your eyes on the left-hand side.
Oh, gosh. Alligators. They're like blending in. Oh, shoot, they're fighting. What were they just doing to each other? Yeah.
Alright, those are the Nile crocodile. And I've worked here 6 months and just saw that one move for the first time. So I guess they are real. I was kind of convinced they weren't for a while. And the Nile crocodile, they're the largest of the crocodilian species. They can weigh up to around 500 pounds and grow up to 16 feet long.
Wow.
That means that if you took one of those Nile crocodile and for whatever reason wanted to prop it up vertically, it'd actually be the same height as an adult giraffe. The force of a crocodile's bite is equal to 2 tons or 4,000 pounds, and those animals eat on sight. But don't worry, because they prefer seafood over people. Now, in the future, though, if you do ever see one of those scaly-looking animals, and you wonder to yourself, is that a Nile crocodile like I just saw on my safari, or is it just another Florida gator? All you got to do is say goodbye to it. If it says see you later, that's an alligator. But if it says see you in a while, that is a crocodile. For now, though, the only thing you need to say goodbye to is the little Aturi forest and maybe give a sayonara to the Safi River. Because in just a moment, we're going to be able to enter our third ecosystem here together, the savanna. Now, personally, I think that the savanna is the coolest part of the reserve. That's because it's home to Africa's most iconic animals, like lions and cheetah and zebra. Oh my! But one of those iconic animals is the giraffe. And giraffes, they love to go into the road for some reason, especially George. So just let you know, I'm hearing on the radio that George the giraffe is going in and out of the road. And that's why we're moving a little bit slower right now. Hopefully he'll head out of the ride path permanently for a little bit, but we might just be touch and go for a moment here. On the reserve, we would call this a giraffic jam. Yeah, I just wanted to give you a little heads up.
Neither. Especially at the alligator one.
Now, if you look really far over to the right, you can start seeing 3 of the Hartman mountain zebra. We'll hopefully get a closer view of them once we get up ahead here. And a group of zebra, this is my favorite thing I get to say all day, that's called a dazzle. On the right, we're getting closer to something called the Ankole cattle. It's an animal with the really thick horns. The Ankole cattle is also known as the Watusi cattle, after the people that first named and domesticated them, the Watusi people. They are the only domesticated animals out here on the savannah. Those horns of theirs grow to be like 5 to 6 feet long. They look really heavy to hold up, but they're actually super light. Each one of their horns only weighs around 2 pounds. That's because they're made of a honeycomb structure, which allows air to be constantly circulating through them. So their horns kind of work like their own personal AC system.
Wow. They do. They look almost like cows.
Over on the left, we can see the spotted hyena. They're behind this little den here. It's walking in the very back.
Oh, right
You
there.
probably know hyenas for their unique calls and kind of sound like a cackle or a giggle. What you might not know about these animals is they live in matriarchal societies. So that means that basically within a pack of hyenas, the girls rule the world. The lowest ranking female hyena will always have more power than the highest ranking.
They are.
Over here on the left, we can see some more of those Ankole or Watusi cattle, whichever you prefer. We're also going to be passing these like mini mountain looking things on either side of us. They're called termite mounds. Coming up on the left is one of the tallest termite mounds in the entire reserve. They're created when mud, dirt, and animal dung all harden under the African sun. Then they end up becoming as strong as concrete. Now here on the left is Boo. She's a Patterson's eland. They're a type of antelope, kind of like the okapi, bombbill, and the greater kudu. But they're more suitable for the savannah. But okay, if you look a little bit further than Boo, on the left you can see Finn, the male Patterson's
You
eland.
spelled something wrong on
Now my
YouTube?
favorite fact about these animals is that when male elands
Yeah,
are
there's a
trying to
fly.
attract a mate, they'll put flower crowns in their horns. So you
Aww.
can see Finn right now. He's got a little design going on. We love that cottagecore aesthetic. So he's probably just getting ready to go ask Boo out on a date.
Aww.
I can't find it.
Over here on the right, you can see some really small brown and white animals. They're far in the distance there. From here, they kind of look like s'mores. Those are called springbok. The springbok is a type of antelope that may be small, but it is mighty. They get their names from an action they do called pronking. That's when they spring 6 feet up into the air and 13 feet ahead of themselves at the same exact time when they need to get somewhere quickly, whether they're going to the lightning lane or just running from a predator. So if they wanted, springboks could easily pronk up into this truck and take us for a ride with us.
Yeah.
That's also the reason that they're the mascots for a lot of sports teams that we have around here.
Just like dinner.
Yeah. Figure it out. You like the bouncing? You like the bouncing? You like the bouncing? The bouncing like boom, boom, boom. You okay? Keep your hands out your mouth, baby.
wildebeest. A group of wildebeest like this is known as an implausibility. That's because these animals got some chaotic energy. In the language Afrikaans, wildebeest does directly translate to wild beast. They're also known as the nunu, after the noises that they make to communicate with one another. And wildebeest are migrating animals. They actually go all around the world together. They've even been known to migrate in groups that are so large, they've been spotted all the way from outer space. There's only one animal in the world that's known to migrate in groups larger than the wildebeest. And here's a hint, it's on the savannah right now. Does anyone have a guess on what that animal might be? Yeah, it's the human. You can have a job after this. Sorry friends, I don't know why we're going so slow. I blame Shannon in front of us. Now over here on the left, you're gonna see the giraffe. This is Georgia, actually the one walking towards us.
Look, Ashley, you see giraffe?
A group of giraffe is known as a tower. These are the tallest land animals in the world. In adulthood, they get up to around 16 to 20 feet tall, but they even start off big. Right over there, you can see baby Humphrey, the smaller one. He was born at 6 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
All giraffes have long and prehensile tongues. They can use them to grab leaves off the branches of trees to have as a snack. A giraffe's tongue is actually so long, they can lick their own eyeball.
Dang.
But one reason I love giraffes is that they have the biggest
Breaking look
hearts.
his nose.
Literally. A giraffe's heart can weigh up to around 25 pounds.